Editing your first YouTube video, the most important skill you need is cutting your clips. It's how you keep your viewers engaged and make your videos flow. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to cut like a pro in iMovie. So we're going to do 4 things. We're going to learn how to zoom in on the timeline, split a clip, delete a clip, and then do a J cut and an L cut. So first let's look at zooming in on the timeline. You can see I've got a number of clips on the timeline, but they're quite bunched up, and if I try to cut this clip, for example, it's very difficult to find where to cut it. So the key thing to do is to zoom in on the timeline. You do this by going over here. You can see this slider here next to the word settings on the right hand side. You simply slide that over by clicking on the clicking it to go up or down, and as I've done that, you can see that immediately the clip has expanded. So if I go small as I click, it zooms in on that timeline, and I can make it as big as I like. When I'm editing, I like to have it about there, because you can get a really good view of the audio. So that's how you zoom in and zoom out on your timeline. So we're zoomed in on our timeline, and the next thing we want to do is a cut. And the way to do that is to come down to the timeline, scroll through. You can hear yourself speaking as you do that, and get to the point where you want to cut. And you can see that where I finish speaking, and then move my head away from looking at the camera. So you want to cut before that happens. And if you look down here on the audio, if I expand it, you can see that I stop talking around here. So I want to cut it just there. So I go down to that point on the clip and just leave the head there. So the head's in the right place. Now I want to cut the video at that point. And there are 2 ways to do that. One way is to come up to here to modify, click on modify, and you use split clip. Click on that and it'll split the clip. If you want to ever undo something that you've done, it's Command Z. So you'll see that's unsplit again. The easiest way to split a clip though, and the way you'll get used to doing, is to use Command B. If you press Command B, it'll split the clip there. So we've split the clip. Then you go over, so you can see that on the audio again, I'm not speaking here, and you can see on the screen now I'm not speaking until here. So then you want to come over to this point just before I start speaking, click there, Command B again, and that split the clip. Next, once you've split the clips you want to delete the unnecessary bits. So for example here, where I'm not speaking, I'm just preparing for the next point where I'm going to start speaking again. If you highlight that section in yellow, so by just clicking on it, then you can delete it by using the backspace. Just use the backspace key to delete it. And now I go from this clip straight into that one. Don't worry though, because even if you think you've deleted the clip, you haven't, it's just hidden. So if you decide that you've deleted it just slightly too early, you want to cut in a little bit earlier than where you've deleted. So all you need to do in that situation is you go to the clip, click on it, and then you hold that down and then move it to the right. And as you can see, if you can see that, all that clip that I had deleted has come back. You can see all this point where I'm not speaking has come back. And the final thing I want to talk about is J cuts and L cuts. So J cuts and L cuts are where you are seeing a picture, but you're getting the sound from the next or the previous part of the film. So if you look here, we have me talking, and then we go to this car across the desert, and then here we've got me talking, and then we go to this train, and then finally we got me talking, and then we go to these fireworks. And often in films and on videos, you'll see the sound of what's going to happen next coming in first, or leaving later, and those are J and L cuts. And so we're going to do that now. And the first thing you need to do is you need to split the audio. So you can see the audio under this clip is attached to the clip, and we need to split it. And the way to do that is to right click on the section, and you press detach audio, and there you go. The audio is no longer in that blue box at the bottom there. It's no longer there. It's now split at the bottom here separately. And by doing that, you can now move the audio separately from the video. So what I want to do is I want to bring this audio from this car so that it overlaps with me talking. So it introduces the idea of this car happening before you see it. So I can pull that audio over here, and it'll start earlier than us seeing the car. If I pull that up, you can see that happening. There's me still talking. You can hear the audio before the car starts. I'm going to pull that a bit more, so it starts even earlier than that. And then what you can also do, and probably a good thing to do, is to fade down the audio of the end of the clip you're finishing, and fade up the audio of the clip you're moving into. So on each of the audio files, you can see this little, that little dot there at the end here, and at the beginning there, see that dot. What you do is you click on that dot, and then if you pull it back in, it'll fade that audio down. And if you do the same here and move that back in, it'll fade the audio up. So let's just look at that. Okay, so that's at the beginning. That's bringing the audio forward into a clip. And then we're going to do it again here with another clip, and we're going to bring the audio into the next clip, so that I keep talking while you see the train. I'm going to pull that over here. I'm also going to fade this down. I'm also going to, the other thing you can do is change the volume of the clips, and you do that by going to this line. If you can see this line here, that line, once you've got that little up and down arrow, if you click on that, then you can change the volume. It's very loud, so I'm going to move it down to about 18, 16. And then we're going to finish seeing me here, and we're going to have me still talking while that train fades in. I'm also going to do it so that it fades in over a much longer period. And then you've got me talking. You can see the train fade in, and the sound from that train fade in while I'm still talking. So those are J and L cuts. And that's the other thing you can do when you're editing and cutting your video. I hope you enjoyed that video, and see you next time.